Did you really think I'd leave a vacuum in content till Gen 9 starts? Hello, my name is Gallade, and welcome to One Last League, the Terminus Championship League, and the Toros Heroes are back for one last round of Gen 8. But not just any league, we're doing another low-tier league similar to NBA, only it's much lower tiered. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And unlike previous leagues where it was just us recording, we're not alone, but we'll get to that in the future weeks. If you're watching this, hey guys, see you in a few weeks. Anyway, so right off the bat, there was one thing on everyone's mind in lower tiers. Like, the main threats, for example, are things like Nidoking, Metagross, and Darmanitan, and weather was on everyone's mind. Everyone was freaking out like, oh, maybe Polytoad's rain, or oh, Gigalith's sand. And I'm thinking, I'm based. I'm much more based than all of you. So I got out the Aurorus. Look at this beauty. Look at her. This is our main hail setter. And like, even if we picked hail, we could have got a Abomasnow, but I thought, nah, I'll save our tier 1 for later. And we'll get to him later. Don't you worry. That's what Aurorus does on its own, besides setting up the hail. Well, Hyper Voice still hits like a semi-truck. And getting up Stealth Rocks for free is always nice. Plus, with the hail up, it's slowly chipping things down, either A, negating their leftovers, or B, putting them on the clock for some of our later threats, which we will get to. Not to mention, its coverage isn't half bad as Rock and Ground do have some pretty good coverage. Freeze Dry is always going to be annoying for water types trying to take this thing on. And it's not unbulky. Sure, its typing sucks defensively, but hey, it's got some bulky stats, especially for the format. Speaking of very scary for the format, we're going to pair something with Aurorus. The Sand Slash. Remember how back in SBT we did this thing, but we failed? Well, we're going to try it again. After all, it's a lower power level, and Sand Slash is a very deadly contender at a top threat. As Ice and Steel is very deadly, especially since most water types have to run it through a Freeze Dry from our other threats. Not only that, when you're at +2, our other moves are going to do just fine, even if they resist. Not to mention, the other monsters are already on the clock as is, and even if they run the safety goggles to negate the hail, well, they're now running leftovers, so I'd say it's a good trade, as we basically did its job for us. Not only that, it is a Rapid Spinner, which is insanely useful when one of your most important mons is weak to rocks. And of course, webs in general could be a pain for us because we have a slow base team, mostly. But overall, I am looking forward to running the hands with people with Sand Slash at my side. And I have something I'm excited for. See, most people like to go into low tier threats early because some things weren't perfect. I tried to advocate for Thwacky being more expensive. For those of you in the server, you know what I mean. Thwacky should have been higher, but we're going to take advantage of this little mistake. Thwacky's finally coming back from the Ocean League to truly make its debut and put in the hands. Not only that, most of our past two mons, they were weak to ground. But Thwacky, forget about it, fixes all of that. And sure, it'll provide healing to our foes, and our Earthquake's weaker. But really, Sand Slash doesn't need Earthquake to be deadly. It's nice to have, but it can live without it. As for healing our opponents, well, we'll just have to hit them harder. Something I am more than happy to do. Other than that, a Grassy Terrain boosted Grassy Glide, potentially even Choice Band boosted, is going to hit insanely hard even off of base 85, which is very respectable for this tier, or rather this metagame. Plus, it gets a nice core going, and we'll get to that core later. Next up, Geraldo's back, and he brought a Fortress with him. Fortress is our main hazard remover, as Sand Slash is going to be probably relegated to sweeping duties. Not only that, it is a physical wall to end most physical walls. It is very powerful. Not only that, Overcoat actually works insanely well with Hail, as it gives you an immunity. Sure, you're missing out on Sturdy, but in this metagame, unless you're a fire type move, not much is going to be out-killing you anyway, so you may as well have the utility that comes with Overcoat. And Geraldo, Gen 9's coming soon. I got big plans for you. Other than that, base 90 is very respectable as Gyro Ball and Bug Bite will hit impressively hard. And overall, excited to see what Fortress does. And next up, Clefairy's here. So I had remember when we had Urshifu and Clefairy walled it? Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that while drafting this team. No, but the real thing that happened was, right after a little bit of behind the scenes, right after I drafted Auroras and Sandslash, I learned that Hail doesn't boost Ice-type moves. And, I was not a happy Gallade that day. So I have to go back now, but I'm still going to use Hail anyway. And Clefairy is a perfect wall for that because we got Magic Guard. Not only that, having a Fairy type is cool, and Eviolite combined with Fairy typing is surprisingly good, despite what those base stats tell you. Not only that, it has a universe-long list of utility options. Taunt, Thunder Wave, Stealth Rocks. Plenty of good stuff. A lot of good stuff to work with. Excited to see what Clefairy can do. And it'll make up for Clefable's lackluster performance in PMC. Next up, I wanted to go with Raichu. It was an electric absorber, it got things in, but that got sniped from us. Fortunately, it's a low tier format. Cheap electrics are in high abundance. Oh, so abundant. So let's go with what electric does do. It's faster than the Fat Rat. It has access to switcheroo for some annoying shenanigans. And unlike Raichu, it's got that overheat. It's gonna be strong. Plus, outside of Hail, our team's rather slow, and Manectric is going to be that. Now, it's not exactly fast. It's kind of fast, I guess. So we're really relying on our Sandslash as a speed crutch here. But even still, Manectric can be annoying and will be strong, and we're going to kill that Raichu if we ever see it in the ring. Now, earlier I mentioned we got Auroras to save our tier 1 slot for something. He's back! Once again, another contender from the Ocean League making his return to the scene after a disappointing finish. Oh, and actually, NBA too. I remember we had even NBA once. Good times. Blaziken is here, as again, it leads the pack in terms of tier 1 power levels. It's not Darmanitan strong, but it's certainly powerful, especially with its mixed coverage, and in fact, insane coverage in general. And base 80 is around the average speed tier for fast threats in this thing. Plus, it has insane priority in the form of Vacuum Wave. Overall, I am looking forward to using this thing. I was going to run Endure Reversal and put that as a purpose, but on a Hail team, just take my word for it, that's not going to work out. And now the real thing that Hail does. What, you thought it was going to be Sandslash? Nah. Well, we have a water slot open, and one water type benefits from Hail. Look at this thing. If you know, you know. Stall Rain is a menace when it goes off. It's just gonna sit there taking hits. And remember, without a bunch of powerful tier 1 threats of League's normal, Stall Rain's just gonna sit there. Sure, it dies to most moves, like its Ice-type brethren. With proper support, which we have, it's pretty good. Not only that, it patches up our fire problem. Somewhat, as besides that, all we have is Watermon and Blaziken, who is not that good. So a potential stopgap for that will be cool, but come on. We're gonna Ice Body Solid with this thing. I'm just gonna tell you guys now. We're doing it. I don't say more on Walrein. It's a menace, and I'm excited to use this thing. And for our final pick, besides Geraldo, listen, we had a tier 1 slot open. We had enough free points to work with it. I needed the fire resists. I grabbed the Jobber. If you know why he's a Jobber, you know why he's the Jobber. But he's a Jobber. Fortunately, this Jobber has something to prove. Because in this league, those are deadly stats. And I don't care what fire type you are, we are going to eat hits with Gudra. Plus, even in general, it is like special tank to end all special tanks. Plus, its coverage is actually pretty good. It has a lot of potential in this league, and might redeem it from its status as the Eternal Jobber. Plus, it's actually a grass immunity to pair nicely with Walrein as a stall core. That's not really the plan to stall with it, although to be fair, leftovers combined with grassy terrain is insanely good. And overall, Gudra, you get one, buddy. Don't disappoint me. And that is our team for TCL. I am excited to show off what we got. See you guys week 1.